This video is for educational purposes. Phoenix is the capital and most populous city of the U.S. state of Arizona, with 1,608,139 residents as of 2020. It is the fifth most populous city in the United States and the most populous state capital in the country. Phoenix is the most populous city of the Phoenix metropolitan area, also known as the Valley of the Sun, which in turn is part of the Salt River Valley and Arizona Sun Corridor. The metro area is the 10th largest by population in the United States with approximately 4.85 million people as of 2020, making it the most populous in the southwestern United States. Phoenix, the seat of Maricopa County, is the largest city by area in Arizona, with an area of 517.9 square miles, 1,341 square kilometers, and is also the 11th largest city by area in the United States. Subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so you get notified each time we upload a new video. Phoenix was settled in 1867 as an agricultural community near the confluence of the Salt and Gila rivers and was incorporated as a city in 1881. It became the capital of Arizona Territory in 1889. Its canal system led to a thriving farming community with the original settlers' crops, such as alfalfa, cotton, citrus, and hay, remaining important parts of the local economy for decades. Cotton, cattle, citrus, climate, and copper were known locally as the 5 C's anchoring Phoenix's economy. These remained the driving forces of the city until after World War II, when high-tech companies began to move into the valley and air conditioning made Phoenix's hot summers more bearable. Phoenix is the cultural center of Arizona. It is in the northeastern reaches of the Sonoran Desert and is known for its hot desert climate. The region's gross domestic product reached over $362 billion by 2022. The city averaged a 4% annual population growth rate over a 40-year period from the mid-1960s to the mid-2000s, and was among the nation's 10 most populous cities by 1980. Phoenix is also one of the largest plurality Hispanic cities in the United States, with 42% of its population being Hispanic. The Hohokam people occupied the Phoenix area for 2,000 years. They created roughly 135 miles, 217 kilometers, of irrigation canals, making the desert land arable, and paths of these canals were used for the Arizona Canal, Central Arizona Project Canal, and the Hayden Roads Aqueduct. They also carried out extensive trade with the nearby ancient Puebloans, Mogollon, and Sinagua, as well as with the more distant Mesoamerican civilizations. It is believed periods of drought and severe floods between 1300 and 1450 led to the Hohokam civilization's abandonment of the area. After the departure of the Hohokam, groups of Acamul-O'odham, commonly known as Pima, Tohono-O'odham, and Maricopa tribes began to use the area, as well as segments of the Yavapai and Apache. The O'odham were offshoots of the Sobepuri tribe, who in turn were thought to be the descendants of the Hohokam. The Acamul-O'odham were the major group in the area. They lived in small villages with well-defined irrigation systems that spread over the Gila River Valley, from Florence in the east to the Estrellas in the west. Their crops included corn, beans, and squash for food as well as cotton and tobacco. They banded with the Maricopa for protection against incursions by the Yuma and Apache tribes. The Maricopa are part of the larger Yuma people. However, they migrated east from the lower Colorado and Gila rivers in the early 1800s, when they began to be enemies with other Yuma tribes, settling among the existing communities of the Acamul-O'odham. The Tohono-O'odham also lived in the region, but largely to the south and all the way to the Mexican border. The O'odham lived in small settlements as seasonal farmers who took advantage of the rains, rather than the large-scale irrigation of the Acamul. They grew crops such as sweet corn, tapery beans, squash, lentils, sugarcane, and melons, as well as taking advantage of native plants such as saguaro fruits, cholla buds, mesquite tree beans, and mesquite candy, sap from the mesquite tree. They also hunted local game such as deer, rabbit, and javelina for meat. The Mexican-American War ended in 1848. Mexico ceded its northern zone to the United States, and the region's residents became U.S. citizens. The Phoenix area became part of the New Mexico Territory. In 1863, the mining town of Wickenburg was the first to be established in Maricopa County, to the northwest of Phoenix. Maricopa County had not been incorporated. The land was within Yavapai County, which included the major town of Prescott to the north of Wickenburg. The Army created Fort McDowell on the Verde River in 1865 to forestall Indian uprisings. The fort established a camp on the south side of the Salt River by 1866, which was the first settlement in the valley after the decline of the Hohokam. Other nearby settlements later merged to become the city of Tempe. The history of Phoenix begins with Jack Swilling, a Confederate veteran of the Civil War who prospected in the nearby mining town of Wickenburg in the newly formed Arizona Territory. As he traveled through the Salt River Valley in 1867, he saw a potential for farming to supply Wickenburg with food. He also noted the eroded mounds of dirt that indicated previous canals dug by native peoples who had long since left the area. He formed the Swilling Irrigation and Canal Company that year, dug a large canal that drew in river water, and erected several crop fields in a location that is now within the eastern portion of central Phoenix near its airport. Other settlers soon began to arrive, appreciating the area's fertile soil and lack of frost, and the farmhouse Swilling constructed became a frequently visited location in the valley. Lord Darrell Duppa was one of the original settlers in Swilling's party, and he suggested the name Phoenix, as it described a city born from the ruins of a former civilization. The Board of Supervisors in Yavapai County officially recognized the new town on May 4, 1868, and the first post office was established the following month with Swilling as the postmaster. In October 1870, Valley residents met to select a new town site for the valley's growing population. A new location 3 miles to the west of the original settlement, containing several allotments of farmland, was chosen, and lots began to officially be sold under the name of Phoenix in December of that year. This established the downtown core in a grid layout pattern that has been the hallmark of Phoenix's urban development ever since. On February 12, 1871, the territorial legislature created Maricopa County by dividing Yavapai County. It was the sixth one formed in the Arizona Territory. The first election for county office was held in 1871 when Tom Barnum was elected the first sheriff. He ran unopposed when the other two candidates, John A. Cheneth and Jim Favorite, fought a duel. Cheneth killed Favorite and was forced to withdraw from the race. The town grew during the 1870s, and President Ulysses S. Grant issued a land patent for the site of Phoenix on April 10, 1874. By 1875, the town had a telegraph office, 16 saloons, and 4 dance halls, but the townsite commissioner form of government needed an overhaul. An election was held in 1875, and 3 village trustees and other officials were elected. By 1880, the town's population stood at 2,453. By 1881, Phoenix's continued growth made the Board of Trustees obsolete. The territorial legislature passed the Phoenix Charter Bill, incorporating Phoenix and providing a mayor-council government. Governor John C. Fremont signed the bill on February 25, 1881, officially incorporating Phoenix as a city with a population of around 2,500. The railroad's arrival in the valley in the 1880s was the first of several events that made Phoenix a trade center whose products reached eastern and western markets. In response, the Phoenix Chamber of Commerce was organized on November 4, 1888. The city offices moved into the new City Hall at Washington and Central in 1888. The territorial capital moved from Prescott to Phoenix in 1889, and the territorial offices were also in City Hall. The arrival of the Santa Fe, Prescott and Phoenix Railway in 1895 connected Phoenix to Prescott, Flagstaff, and other communities in the northern part of the territory. The increased access to commerce expedited the city's economic rise. The Phoenix Union High School was established in 1895 with an enrollment of 90. On February 25, 1901, Governor Oakes Murphy dedicated the permanent Capitol building, and the Carnegie Free Library opened 7 years later, on February 18, 1908, dedicated by Benjamin Fowler. The National Reclamation Act was signed by President Theodore Roosevelt in 1902, which allowed dams to be built on waterways in the West for reclamation purposes. The first dam constructed under the Act, Salt River Dam No. 1, began in 1903. It supplied both water and electricity, becoming the first multi-purpose dam, and Roosevelt attended the official dedication on May 18, 1911. At the time, it was the largest masonry dam in the world, forming a lake in the mountains east of Phoenix. The dam would be renamed after Teddy Roosevelt in 1917, and the lake would follow suit in 1959. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell so you get notified each time we upload a new video. See you in the next one.